Captain America Civil War is directed by the Russo brothers, and I have been pumped for this film. It stars most of the Avengers as well as some new superheroes, and the plot of this film is basically it takes off of the events of Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron. Captain America's side of the Avengers have basically been branded as vigilantes. They're no longer seen as superheroes by the public or the government, and they've been put under government control. And then there's some stuff with Winter Soldier going on, which means Captain America's going to want to try and help him, and then Tony Stark's sort of against that, and the two sides butt heads, and that's the plot. Now, I was pumped for this film. I was so jacked for the new elements they were bringing in, which I'll talk about in a minute, and so I just sat and I watched it, and I loved it. It was a great movie. I think it's probably one of the best MCU films we've had. It was just so well done. The plot was told so well. The storytelling was fantastic. I was worried about how the time jumping was going to sort of get in the way and convolute it a bit, but it was fine. It really worked. The focus was fantastic. There was a good balance of both sides in the story. Everyone was great in their role. Yeah, seriously, I mean, Chris Evans does a great job as Captain America. However, I don't find Captain America that fascinating. He's a great superhero. It's just I'm not a lover of Captain America, but he still did a really good job. And Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. I mean, it's impossible to say that he doesn't do well as this character. He is Iron Man now, and he does an amazing job here. And those two are the sort of real leads of this film. Sebastian Stan was really good as Winter Soldier. However, I struggled to like him a lot throughout this film because he had just such a miserable attitude. And I get they try and sort of give him a bit more of a story, you know, and sort of how he hates being the Winter Soldier. But I mean, he was just so miserable for a lot of it, and I just didn't find him likable. I did grow to like him a bit more often, which was good. One of the things I was super pumped for was the fact that Spider-Man was going to be in this film. At long, long last, he is in the MCU, and my God, it might just be the best representation of Spider-Man we've had. Tom Holland knocked it out of the park to the point where he spun his web, caught the ball, and flung it the other way. It was just superb. He struck the balance between what was so great about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and he just meshed them together so well. He did an amazing job. I am jacked for Spider-Man Homecoming. I just cannot wait. They do some really cool explanations of how certain things about his, his costume and sort of web shooters and stuff like that it's very well done in this film. I'm not going to spoil anything. So he was one of the best aspects of this film for me. Another great aspect of this film was a new superhero, and that's Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman did an amazing job as the character. I truly bought him as T'Challa. His accent was flawless. I mean, that sounded like a proper African accent, and I know, and I just bought it. He was that role. His costume was fantastic. His kind of subplot in this film was a little bit cliched, but I think it's executed well enough, and it was him that I loved the most about his aspect. In regards to accents, Elizabeth Olsen's accent as Scarlet Witch kind of breaks a bit. There are times when it sounds like kind of a sort of a Russian sort of accent, an Eastern European accent, and then it kind of breaks back to sort of an American accent. It happened a few times, but it wasn't really anything to drastically complain about. In regards to the action, for the most part, superb. However, the opening scene had an overabundance on cuts, and it was very shaky, and I get they were trying to go for that more realistic action movie sort of style, but I mean, but that first scene was it was very rapidly edited and stuff like that. But thankfully the action did get a bit better, but that opening scene was a bit too fast, it was like sort of kind of, but it wasn't overdone, but it still was very quick. It was quickly cutted very fast. Another problem I kind of had with this film was the villain. Didn't find him that interesting, didn't find him that sort of compelling, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but did a great job. The actor did an amazing job, but just wasn't that much of an investing character. The thing that I concentrated the most on in this film was Iron Man's side, because I prefer Iron Man to Captain America. I was on Team Iron Man. I thought they had the better superheroes on his side, and I found that aspect most interesting, and there was some really great sort of meat given to that character, some really great backstory given to that side. It was terrific. Loved it. Overall, loved this film. I thought it was terrific. I thought it was better than Age of Ultron. I would probably say it was better than Winter Soldier, because it did have a bit more of a sort of cinematic kind of feel to it. Everyone was amazing in the role. Super pumped for Black Panther movie and Spider-Man. I cannot wait to see where these characters go in the future. And I'm going to give Captain America Civil War an A-. Well guys, those are my thoughts on Captain America Civil War. Let me know what you thought below, and I will be seeing you for my X-Men Apocalypse review later this month, so look forward to that. Okay then, take care, bye.